Hello everyone, and welcome back to another hufo, the series where I give you my honest, unfiltered opinions on a variety of subjects that you asked me about. To get involved in a future one of these, make sure you follow me over on Instagram. Anyway, let's dive into it. Jesse Termott asks my opinion on what a world without music would be like, which is quite an interesting question. I mean, everything would be entirely different. Music is found in every known culture and has shaped society in so many different ways. Besides being used as just entertainment, music has also served practical purposes. To name a few things that come to mind, music has been used to pass down information from one generation to the next. It's been used in a military sense to drum up support, to intimidate the enemy, help conduct marches, the list goes on. The oldest known instrument is 40,000 years old. Music has probably been in our culture since before we were even humans. I think it's safe to say that music and humanity are inseparable. I'm speculating here because I'm definitely no biologist or anthropologist or whatever, but the part of our brain that developed to enjoy music, I'm guessing, was an evolutionary need. Jamming with fellow cavemen around the campfire must have played a role in the development of those early tribes and societies, so maybe the cavemen who didn't like doing that didn't end up shacking up with the cave girls. My opinion, without music, we literally wouldn't be humans as we know it. Nice question, Jesse. Next up is a question that a bunch of people asked in different ways, but Sir Pineapple 98 in particular asked my opinion on Relic Guitars. So first of all, if you do like Relic Guitars or you own one, power to you. I have no moral issue with them, but I'm not a fan and would never seek one out. First of all, I like doing that myself. I love the fact that I've had my telly for over half of my life, and every single mark and scratch was put there by me. Except for that one ding that was put there by some drunk girl at a country bar who knocked it off its stand, but that's besides the point. The wear on that instrument, I see it as a symbol to the dedication and the hours I've put into music. So for my instruments, I just kind of want that stuff to be real. But from a more practical standpoint, it always seems that there's just something off about Relic guitars. I've played a bunch, and to me they feel like new guitars that have been purposely worn down versus that incredible feeling of playing a naturally aged instrument. I was playing one the other day and the finish felt right, but the wood underneath felt and looked brand new. Having played a handful of actual vintage guitars, there is a huge difference between the two. Now, if a Relic guitar and a vintage guitar were indistinguishable, I'd probably be more into them. Javi288 asks if I would trade YouTube for any other job in the world. It's a tough question to answer because the grass always seems greener on the other side. I would love to tour the world as part of a band playing arenas and stadiums, and I doubt YouTube will ever open that up for me. I've been saying this for a while now, but I really think before long I'll start doing this in a smaller sense, doing smaller shows, clinics, and the like. Honestly, the one big thing missing from my life now is playing live. Besides that, I couldn't ask for a better job. But I mean, I know some people who are on the road all the time doing these bigger events, and they envy the fact that I make a good living playing music while also being able to stay at home. I play on 2 sports teams, I see my family multiple times a week, my girlfriend and I eat dinner together most nights of the week. These are the kind of things that really tug at your heart when you're on the road for long periods of time, and I'm not sure I could give that up. Unless it was Slash asking me to join Guns N' Roses, in which case, it's been a slice, I'll see you guys later. Fiona, I guess, asks my hufo on doing hufos. Hufo inception, nice. My biggest struggle with YouTube is consistently trying to come up with new ideas. Videos like this require very little creative effort because you guys do all the work and I just speak my mind. It also gives me a chance to engage with you lot out there in a totally different way, and people seem to like it. So my hufo on hufos is I'm a fan and will keep them going as long as people seem interested. Next up is a guy who sent me a picture of his friend's mom and asked me my hufo on if she is hot or not. Never stop being you. My buddy Noah asks my least favorite trend in current music. I'm going to classify this as pop music so we can narrow it down a bit. And I should say before I get into it that I'm actually a fan of a lot of pop music, and just because I don't like certain elements of it doesn't mean it necessarily negates someone's art entirely. I also acknowledge the fact that I may sound like an old man yelling at the sky. But the first thing I really don't like is that rapid hi-hat or snare that sounds like yeah, I don't like that thing, but it does seem to be going away a bit. But my other annoyance is that common repetitive 16th note followed by dotted 8th note rhythm. Do-da, do-da, do-da. Do-da, do-da, do-da. I can't offer a great reason for it, but that rhythm just bothers my ear. But the biggest thing that I really don't like is what I call small mouth syndrome, which is when singers sing like they have little small mouths because they're little small mice. If you listen for it, it's all over pop music. It drives me nuts. I don't know why, but if I hear it, I just change the radio station. I suspect that this vocal style is a reaction to the big belting vocals of the early 2000s that came in the American Idol era. And it should be said, if you do like any of these things, that's fine. I don't, but we can still be friends. Kit Hodge Chris asks, what food do I despise? Now, I love food. It's one of my favorite things. On some days, I like it more than music. I would consider myself quite an adventurous eater, and there's not a lot that I don't like. But I absolutely cannot stand caraway seeds. They are the most repulsive taste I've ever experienced that's disguised as food. Besides that, I'm not really one for sweets. I also have a big issue with the way a lot of meat is produced from an environmental and ethical standpoint. It's your boy Gabe127 asks how he can convince his parents that he wants to play guitar for a living. Now, I don't think it's going to be difficult to convince your parents that you want to do it. What's tricky is convincing them that you're going to make a comfortable living doing so. I think the best thing is to show them that you follow through with whatever it is that you put your mind to, from the smaller things in life right up to the bigger things like a career. If they see you as someone who is responsible, reliable, determined, and just gets it done, no matter what is, there's a higher chance that they're going to support you in a difficult career like music. Now, on a similar note, Hood Malik asks my hufo on how difficult it is to be successful in a career in music. The definition of success is going to vary individual to individual. My definition is that you're able to earn a comfortable living while creating art full time. And that is something that is extremely difficult but not impossible. The reason is a musical job is something that a lot of people want. The economy is flooded. There is a lot of supply, but not as much demand, which cheapens things. There are a lot of really good musicians out there. To put it into perspective, I started music school with about 300 or so other students. I fit in nicely somewhere in the middle talent-wise. But out of all of us, I would say that there are probably 5 that have found my definition of success, 10 if I stretch it. Those are not good odds, and that is a sampling of some highly talented musicians who are good enough to pass a tough audition and get into one of Canada's best schools. The good news is that we're in the midst of a major shift in the music industry, and the internet has opened up a bunch of opportunities that never used to exist. So for the business-minded musician with enough talent and enough drive, there are ways to get it done. And last for today, I'll do one that encompasses a lot of the questions I get. Juan AJ asks, is a Strat or Tele better for a beginner? My answer to this will be the same as the question, should I buy this or this guitar, or what's the best guitar in this price range? The only wrong thing to do is buy a guitar that you don't like. A guitar is kind of a reflection of our personalities, and all of us are different. There will probably be things you like and dislike about any guitar you buy, which is why many of us have many guitars. We also live in a day and age where there's pretty good quality control, and if you buy from a reputable dealer, you're not going to get something horrid that's going to fall apart on you. Figure out what instruments your favorite guitarists play, and then try to figure out what it is about those instruments that makes them a fit for those genres, and see if that applies to you. The more you spend, the better the quality is likely going to be, but there are diminishing returns here. The difference between a $500 and $1,000 guitar is fairly substantial. Between a $1,000 and $1,500 guitar, not as much. My best advice, try a bunch of things out and see what you gravitate towards. Ladies and gentlemen, that about wraps it up. There has been an incredibly annoying beep going off somewhere in my house this entire video shoot, and I need to go find it. If you want a shirt like the one I'm wearing, you can head over to www.shopsamuraiguitarist.com. There are a wide range of sizes, styles, and colors, both men's and women's, and they ship all around the world. By repping that Sammy G merch, you make what I do possible, and you also get a pretty cool piece of apparel if I do say so myself. If you want to get caught up on the hufo series, hit that link up there. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. I want to give a big thank you to everyone who supports my channel through Patreon. I'm Samurai Guitarist, and until next time, I will see you all again soon.